Opening day 2020 begins here in Toronto on a rainy night with the roof closed as the Toronto Blue Jays will be taking on AL East rival Boston Red Sox. On the mound for the Blue Jays, the new star pitcher Hyunjin Ryu signed from the LA Dodgers in the offseason. He finished as the runner-up in Cy Young voting last year with 14 wins and a 2.32 ERA. On the mound for the Red Sox was pitcher Chris Sale. The star lefty had a pretty slow year last year with a 6-11 record and a 4.4 ERA, so he's hoping to open the year bouncing back. Now, Jose Peraza would lead off at the top of the first inning, and on the first pitch of the game, a changeup would just hang a little over the plate and go into left center field. Teoscar Hernandez would miss on the dive, and he would squeeze into second with a double, and that would be how the game got started off for the Red Sox. The next man up would be Alex Verdugo, and he would be caught looking right at that changeup. Perfect placement from Ryu, as that would be his first strikeout of the year. JD Martinez stood in next up to bat, and he would hit the ground ball into right field. That would move Peraza over to third base, setting the stage for shortstop Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts on the 0-2 pitch would be swinging, and it would be a little dribbler out to Cavan Biggio. He would flip it to Bo Bichette, but they wouldn't be able to turn two, meaning the run came home, and it would still be with 2 outs. However, Ryu would get himself out of the jam, as that one would be right to Bichette. He would get it to Biggio, and that would be it for the inning. Now, leading off would be shortstop Bo Bichette for the Blue Jays on the 1-2 pitch from Sale. He would take that one and line it right into right field, as he would get on first for the first hit of the new Blue Jays season. Bichette picking up right where he left off a year before. Next would be the DH Joe Panik up to bat, and he would line that one to Xander Bogaerts, as it would be a 6-3 double play, and that would be how the year got started for the Blue Jays. Now we take you top of the third. Ryu gets Peraza looking on that nasty two-seam fastball. And then up next would be Alex Vasquez. And this curveball, I mean, just get a good look at this thing. It's nasty. He gets him swinging, and that's how he gets out of that inning. Up next, we take you to the bottom of the fourth. Joe Panik leading off on the 2-0 pitch, as he would bloop that one into left field, getting him on first to open the inning with no outs. Gurriel Jr. would be up next, and he would take that fastball from Sale and send that thing into right field, as it would get runners on first and second for the inning with no outs. However, up next would be Teoscar Hernandez, and that changeup was just filthy. Hernandez gets caught swinging, and then Randall Grichuk up next gets caught on that Chris Sale slider. I mean, that's just his thing. You're gonna get caught up by that. Up next would be Vladdy Jr. as he would take that fastball from Sale and line it into right field. That would load up the bases. Not able to bring anyone home, but he still got the bases loaded with 2 outs now for Rowdy Tellez. Tellez would be looking for it. However, he would swing for that changeup down and out of the zone, and that would be an easy out to end and get Chris Sale out of the jam in the bottom of the fourth. Now, top of the fifth inning, Michael Chavis up to bat as he gets caught looking at that high fastball from Ryu. That would end the top of the fifth. Later in the same inning, Bo Bichette up at the dish with 2 outs as he takes that fastball that just hangs a little over for Sale, and that will get Bo Bichette into second base with a 2-out 2-bagger for Bichette, and he keeps the Blue Jays alive in this one. Joe Panik up next at the dish as he would try to do his fair share of keeping the Jays alive, as he would send that one to center field. However, it would be right to the center fielder, and it would end the fifth inning. Now, bottom of the seventh, Vladdy Jr. leading off the 1-0 fastball from Sale gets driven out into right center field, as it would get Vladdy Jr. into first base with a single, his second hit of the night. Brandon Derby now up to bat as he takes that changeup from Sale, sends it into right field, and that'll get Guerrero Jr. into third and Derby into second. Both runners in scoring position. Prime position for Bo Bichette, who would be up to bat next. However, he would be intentionally walked, so the bases would be loaded with 2 outs for Joe Panik. The true question was could Joe Panik deliver? And no, he couldn't, until Xander Bogaerts decided to fumble the ball, leading to Panik being safe at first, so now the game would be tied, and that would be it for Chris Sale's day. Trevor Hildenberger would then come in to try to clean up this inning. In 16 innings pitched, he had a 10 ERA last season, so not the best stats. However, the Sox hoping that maybe he can leave that in the past and start off the new year on a good note. Gurriel Jr. would be the first batter that he would have to face, and he would line that one straight away to center field. However, it would end the inning, so Hildenberger gets them out of the jam. Now, Ryu at the top of the 8th with the first batter. He faces Kevin Pillar, the former Blue Jay, sends that one into left field as it'll get him on with no outs with a single, and that would be it for Ryu's day as Anthony Bass would come in. In 48 innings last year, he had a 3.5 ERA, so not terrible last year, but we all know that the weakness for this Blue Jays team is the bullpen. So Christian Vasquez, the first batter that Bass would face, however, he would walk him as that slider just did not slide. So now 2 men on with no one out, leading for Michael Chavez to stand in. However, Chavez goes down swinging to that slider. Mitch Moreland up next as he takes that fastball and he lines it down the left field line. It would be fair, scoring Pillar and sending Vasquez into third, putting runners on the corner. Next man up would be the leadoff Jose Peraza as he would stand in and he would be sacrifice bunting, sending that one up to Vladdy Jr., getting it back to Bass. However, it would only be the second out of the inning, meaning that it scored Vasquez, giving the Red Sox a 3-1 lead. Now, Bo Bichette, 2 men out, bottom of the 9th, trying to make something out of nothing, but he can't do it. He'll line right out to the second baseman, and that would be it for the game. Trevor Hildenberger gets credited with the win, Ryu with the loss. And that would be it for this one. A pretty disappointing game. The bats just couldn't come alive, or most importantly, I really couldn't hit. And that was kind of one big takeaway I had, is just I have to be a little bit more patient. I should have gotten on base with some walks more, because Sale was throwing some good stuff. However, that doesn't mean that it was always in the zone. However, now let's go ahead and get into the recap so far before the game that we're going to be playing in the next episode. So, following the opening day loss, we would only get 1 of 4 games against the Red Sox, and we hit a really bad stride to open the season. However, after the Royals series, we've won 7 out of the last 9 games, so we've been kind of on the rise. We're 10-11 right now, and we hope that we can get back to 500 following this next game against the Rays, because afterwards we'll be playing the Red Sox twice, the Orioles, the Yankees, and then the Red Sox, so we have some pretty important divisional games coming up. Now, looking at some stats, Travis Shaw is absolutely shredding right now. The guy has a 1,300 OPS with 6 home runs and 20 RBIs on the season. Bo Bichette is also having a really great year. He's getting on base a little bit more. Would like to see a bit of a higher slugging percentage, but I mean, it's already really good. And as far as who have gone cold so far, Kevon Biggio kind of leads that group. He has a 479 OPS, which is just not going to cut it. We might even move him down to AAA and just roll with Joe Panic for a little while, because these numbers are really terrible. And Vladdy Guerrero Jr., kind of the big surprise here. He's also off to a really slow start this season. He's striking out a lot, which, I mean, that usually doesn't matter to me. However, whenever you only have a 20% slugging percentage and you can only get on base like 24% of the time, it's a pretty big deal, especially when we're playing him at first base, asking him just to kind of be a star hitter for us. Now, looking at some pitching, so far the highest ERAs are Justin Miller and Ryan Dole. Miller has only had 2 innings pitched, however, they haven't been good innings in the slightest, and Ryan Dole hasn't either. Both of these guys I don't expect to be any long-term mainstays on the team. If anything, we might look to make trades to get better at this spot, especially if we can continue winning or just playing at the rate that we are. Ryan Borucki has kind of been the worst starter we've had. However, he's the one who has the most future for us, so we're hoping that he can kind of rebound and settle down in the season. As far as the rest of the starters, they all haven't been great, but then again, the entire team hasn't been great to start the year, apart from Hinji and Ryu. He's had an amazing start. He actually just had a complete game against the Rays, where he got his first win of the year with a 2.8 ERA, so he's off to a good start. Ken Giles is also playing great, and Tim Meza has also had a really good start to his season, along with Anthony Bass, whose only run allowed was one of the runs that he let out in opening day. Other than that, he's been on an absolute tear this season. Looking at the standings, we're currently 3rd in the AL East, tied with the Rays. Our goal is that we can slowly but surely start to, kind of peel away from them, as in the wild card right now, we are 1.5 games out, tied with the Rays right now. However, that'll be all for me, as that'll be all for the first episode. In the next episode, we will be taking on the Rays in Tampa Bay. We will be trying to complete the sweep and get back up to 500 with Shun Yamaguchi on the mound. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.